All right, in this video today we are going to install this Torklift Central EcoHitch. I got the 2-inch version on my 2016 Golf R. So no drill installation, just have to take the back bumper cover off, take out the rear tail lights from the inside of the hatch, and then trim the lower fascia down here just where the opening will be, in between the two dual exhaust right in here. We'll trim the lower piece down here. And they give you a little cover piece that goes around the edges after you trim it. This little piece goes around the hole. But that's it. We're gonna get this process going and show you what it takes. All right, so the first thing we'll do is remove the taillight assemblies from the inside. So basically come inside here, pull this little flat back, unscrew here, and on the other side, unscrew here. And then we'll pull the taillight assemblies out and set them on the inside. Get going with that, come right back. So after you unscrew the white plastic clip with the spring, you're gonna have to undo the harness on each light. And it's basically lift up on this red lock and then push in the black tab, and then it'll separate from the taillight, and then the taillight should just pop right out. There you go. All right, so the next thing to do is to remove the 8 screws on the underside and inside of the fenders of the back bumper. So there's 3 on either wheel well, and then I think there's 5 across the back underneath, or I think there's 8 total. I'll count them, make sure, but there's a couple inside each wheel well, and then there's some all along the underside of the back bumper. So they're T25s, so Torx T25 bit. So I'll remove those and then come back. So there's actually 4 T25s inside each wheel well. So here's 1, 2, 3, and then way up under here. You must have to peel back the side. Where is it? There's the 4th one. Right in there. It's hard to see. Sorry, the camera's way up in there. So there's 4 inside each wheel well. And there's 6 on the underside of my 2016 Golf R. The 2 outermost ones are T25s. The two in the middle and the other 2 underneath the edges are T15s. So 2 different sizes. So we'll get going on taking the bumper cover off. All right, so I've got all the underside T25s and T15s taken off. The ones in the middle across the back, the 2 in the middle here are T15s, the next 2 further out ones are T15s, and then the outermost ones are T25s. And then the 4 inside each wheel well are all T25s. So once you get all those out, once you get the taillight assemblies out, then you can start peeling the back bumper cover off. So that's what I'm gonna start doing now. There's tabs on each side at the top where the taillights were, these tabs here. You can push those down with a trim tool or a flathead screwdriver, maybe taped over with electrical tape so you don't damage the paint. But that's on both sides. So you'll have to pry those down just to pop these pieces off. But I'm gonna start taking the back bumper cover off now, and then we'll come back. So the 4th T25 inside the wheel well is the hardest one to get. So there's 2 down here at the bottom, 1 a little bit further up, and then the 4th one you have to peel back the wheel well lining, and then right where the joint is here of the bumper cover and the fender, there's a screw that faces up this way. So the head of the screw, it unscrews this way, but it's laying in there like this. The head of it is here facing up, so it faces this way, and it's hard to get the right angle. You have to peel back the wheel well lining and then get a T25 in there at the right angle to get it. So that's the hardest one. Just one thing to note there. So it's right at the joint here. So back bumper's off. One thing to note, when you take it off, mine's a 2016 Golf R. The lights in the bumper for the license plate, there's a little wiring harness that comes out here. This little clip goes into the inside of the bumper. And then there's a couple of spots on the bumper where it clips into the wire here. But you have to release these 2 red tabs and then just push this black clip in. So once you unlock it with the red tabs extended, push the black tab down and then just slide these off. There's two of them, one for each side of the license plate light. And that just, you know, obviously when the bumper's not on, that just hangs down. Next thing you do is take this foam bumper cover off. There's two little tabs you have to undo at the top that wrap around the steel bumper. So the foam actually, I don't think gets used again, so that'll come off. The hard T25s I was talking about, that's where it goes into from at that crease mark. So that's where that goes into when the wheel well's peeled back. That screw's just an impossible angle to get to, so a lot of messing with that one. So anyways, we'll clean this up a little bit and then get going on the hitch. And then just on the inside of the bumper here, you can see up under here where those taillight plugs go. And then the routing of the cable goes along here into these clamps, and then that plastic clip clips into here on the right, the passenger side of the vehicle. So it comes in from the car, that little plastic clip goes in here, wiring harness comes up through here, there's a couple more, and then it clips in to those two spots. All right, so I've got that foam bar taken off of the bumper, the impact bar of the bumper here. So this, there's 7 bolts here, here, here. So 3 on the driver's side, 4 on the passenger side, 2 up top, and 2 on the bottom. So I'll take all 7 of those off and then remove that bar. That bar will get reinstalled over the hitch. So the bumper, or the impact bar part of the bumper, the steel part that you took off with the 7 bolts, they're 13mm bolts. They have a little hanging tab that goes here on both sides. You can see it on the bumper here. This tab hangs in that little slot, so that'll help you get it lined up. You don't have to balance it yourself. It's on both sides. So here, this little tab fits in there. So as I'm doing that, I just learned that that's on there to hold it for you, so you don't have to hold it and try to get the bolts threaded again when you put the hitch on. All right, so I got the hitch installed. The 2 big bolts that come with it go through from the bumper side back towards the rear of the car. They have nuts that go on the up under here. That one on the driver's side. If I can get it to focus here. There we go. So this one on the driver's side, and the same inner space on the passenger side. Those holes were not used on the factory bumper setup, so those hold the EcoHitch on the car. And then the 7 bolts we took off, the 13mm bolts we took off, the hitch package comes with 7 longer ones to go through both the hitch and the original steel bumper that goes back on in the same location, using those 7 same holes. So a little bit longer 13mm bolts come with it. Put those 7 back on. Those get torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. The bigger ones get torqued down to 75 foot-pounds that hold the hitch on. So 75 for the big ones. They are, I want to say 19mm. I think that's right. And then the 13mm that come with it are 18 foot-pounds. So everything's back here. Now I have to trim the lower fascia to fit around the hitch receiver. So I'll do that now. It comes with the right measurements to do that. The instructions say for the 2-inch hitch to trim a 4 1/4 inch wide hole by 3 inches deep. The 1 1/4 inch receiver gets a 3 1/4 inch by 3 inch cutout. So I've got to do the bigger one, 4 1/4 by 3 inches. So I'll center that and cut that out, and then put the trim lock piece they have to go over the cut plastic edge. I'll put that in place around the new cut space. But that's just in the center of the opening here to go around the receiver. So I'll go make that cut, and then I'll start reinstalling the rear bumper. All right, so now I've got the notch cut out and the little trim piece they give you put on. It's 4 1/4 wide by 3 inches this way. So 4 1/4 across. centered between these two holes. So 4¼ by 3. So that is all trimmed and ready to go. So now we'll put the back bumper back on and go from there. All right. So I've got everything put back together. Hitch looks good. Got the cutout. You can see down below the trim piece around it looks pretty good. Fits perfectly right around the edge of the receiver. Everything's snug. Everything's tightened back down. The hardest thing to get to was, again, this screw that faces this way up against this seam. It's just a bad angle to get to. I've got a 90-degree bit that couldn't get on it either. Just had to reach up under there, holding the fender liner back, or the wheel well liner back as I did it. But again, I think it looks good. I'm glad I got the 2-inch because that's, you know, our bike rack. We got a Kuat Sherpa 2.0 with a 2-inch receiver, but it'll hold it snug in there. And I'll take a couple pictures after I get the bike rack loaded with the bike on it, of what that looks like. But all set, good to go. All in all, it took about 2.5 hours, probably an hour of which was getting those 2 screws out at the seam of the bumper and the fender, one on either side. But not a bad job. I just took my time. I wasn't in a rush. So again, 2016 Golf R, EcoHitch, Torklift Central is the one that makes it. The part number for the 2-inch is X7332. X7333 is the other size. Pretty happy with it. Happy the way it turned out, happy the way it looks. I just need to do some final cleanup and wipe down from the dirt that came out from under the fender wells. Clean up the garage a little bit, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and hope to have more videos soon. I'm gonna do the same hitch install on my wife's 2020 Audi SQ5 coming up, so stay tuned for that one. But again, thanks for watching this one. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, or if you have any questions on this particular install. Have a good day. Thanks.